Ladies and gentlemen, it's a brother Bolo Vietnam. Remember when you come through the door, just hit the like button for me now, please. It's free. It don't cost you nothing and it don't take 2 seconds. You do it already? If you don't do it now. See it? Hit that like button, get us to 1,000 likes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know that video kinda different, you know. Always a celebration upon TikTok and the man hold a serious reasoning, ladies and gentlemen, about certain different topics in terms of the economy, real estate, you know, the cost of living, among many other things we're going to mention. And more indulge, you know, on the ears. I want to take a listen to this one. Watch the video from beginning to end. Don't miss nothing. Remember the donation link is pinned. You're always welcome to support the platform on that level. Without any further ado, here we go. Like, share, and subscribe.
A form of entertainment, like in the sense where when I watch Tom Cruise jump out of a plane in Mission Impossible, I don't think to myself, I'm gonna crack the window and then skirt over and I don't think about jumping out of a plane. When I play Grand Theft Auto, what I usually do on Grand Theft Auto, I take a bike and I speed through the wrong way of traffic to see how much cars I can dodge. And then I start shoot up the car them up there to give myself some target for dodge. And I won't even go on a bike in real life, right? You're able to separate the difference between entertainment and it's not necessarily the reality of what you're listening to. See? But at the same time, I can acknowledge, why are these the songs that connect the most with the people? Why are these the songs that actually connect the most with people? And why are these the artists that are receiving corporate and government support? And what I mean when I say that, right? If the government weren't supporting these guys, the government could draft legislation that stated that these songs singing about killing and chopping and any song that was promoting a criminal lifestyle could be, camped on the airways, and they can deny them visas and blah, 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 blah. There's things that they can do legislatively to restrict the music. In England, they can't even play, they practically killed grime as an entire genre, because all the commercial avenues of playing it, they have to bleep it. So the song's like, oh, with a, and I went with the V with the, went to the sofa with the door, it bleeps out all of the fucking things. So they found a way to restrict the music, right? There's ways that you can legislatively restrict the music. We don't have the right to freedom of speech in Jamaica like Americans do as a First Amendment, blah, 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 blah. And I saw it go in Jamaica. You can't even cuss bad words on stage. Our speech is definitely limited in Jamaica. Certain things, we have freedom of expression, but there's definitely restriction. I can read it out now. However, certain restrictions on speech are permissible when they are demonstrably justifiable, and blah, 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 blah. Incite to violence is the first thing that they say. You can limit somebody's freedom to speech when it's a case to incite violence, right? So the government doesn't think they're inciting violence with the music, when we can all see that the music is not only a reflection of the reality that people are facing, but it works in a way where it desensitizes, normalizes, and makes it acceptable, and it further perpetuates it. It doesn't change the culture, it keeps the status quo. Yeah, anyways. If they thought the music was really having that much of a negative impact, they could change it. They would change it. They would have done something. I mean, it's not. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're not even. The media isn't even attempting to hide it anymore either. It's reached a stage where I actually cannot believe. It was obvious. But it's not just, you know what I mean? That's how they guarantee votes. With a low do you know what the voting turnout was for the last election? Do you know what the voting turnout was for the last election? It was 38%. 38% of the electorate. That's not 38% of the population. That's 38% of those who are enumerated and registered to vote. Now, I don't want a single soul to tell me about COVID because the Jamaicans were not inside. Something like an election they're definitely not gonna be staying inside because of COVID. Those who vote. Half of them still don't believe in it. Any of them who got vaccinated were mostly forced to do it. And you know how I know? I worked at a vaccine drive. I volunteered and worked at a vaccine drive. I worked at a PSOJ vaccine drive. Volunteered there. Zine? When I'd leave the track, I'd go monitor the people and I get juke and thing. And 90%, okay, the people who came were all from businesses who had forced vaccination. So if you were gonna remain employed, you had to get a vaccine. And 90% of the people that came never want to get it. Them ask all sorts of questions, all sorts of which was good to see. Jamaicans extremely skeptical of things of that nature, you know, blah, 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 blah. But the reasoning that people were giving me, and I'm like, yo, I'm not a doctor, that's a doctor. The doctor got it. I saw the doctor get the injection. Me can get the injection. The doctor knows more than I do. They went to school for 10 years. They spent millions of dollars to learn about this shit. You, who can barely read, you're gonna tell me that you know more about the COVID vaccine than that doctor? Please continue in the line, right? So some dead, bro. I'ma say it. Some know how the Jamaican them thinking of, bro. You understand me? Them now make nothing stop them if them have to do something. If them have to do something, them have a blood clot do it. Zine? But yeah. Listen, I saw this person arguing with the doctor about the vaccine. And when I saw his job role, because I could see their roles on the thing when I signed them into the, bro, the man was like, If it wasn't the gardener, it was like sanitational work. It was like it was clearly the man had no further education. You know what I mean? And he's arguing with the doctor. And I don't want to sound like a pussyhole and just appeal to authority, right? I don't want to do that, but doctors go to school for like 10 years, first of all. Even while they become doctors, they're still not fully doctors. They have to like be learning and doing exams and shit before they can become doctors. And then this brother has been a doctor for like 20 years. Why you not just, if you feel so strongly about it, why you don't just leave? You know what I mean? Why are you you're really gonna argue with it? I mean, better you just make up your mind and say, all right, well, fuck you, man, I'll do it. But I don't see how you are gonna convince a doctor of your opinion that you are actually right. That if you just blend up the bush tea them and you know what I mean, and you rate it and such, you're gonna convince a doctor to view your point of view as correct. Let me tell you something, bro. That's not the message we need to be promoting right now. Because of the brain drain that we have in the society, we need to be promoting access to education for everybody. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying to some extent, right? You're talking about indoctrination. Zine, you're talking about the people without indoctrination. But education, bro. Education is the most important thing for a society. Education is the only way you can uplift yourself from your circumstances using your brain and your skill rather than the resources around you. By using your brain and your knowledge as a resource, right? Education is quite frankly one of the most important things. It should be the most important thing that we focus on people having so that we can be more efficient, more progressive. One of the most important aspects of reading, which people don't quite seem to understand, is that reading teaches people empathy by forcing you to understand a different perspective. It's not empathy in the sense where you care for somebody or you like them or good things for people, because there's this concept of empathy that people have where there's only the positive aspects of I like them, I'm an empathetic person, I'm nice. It's about viewing somebody else's perspective, being able to as if it's your own, and feel somebody else's point of view and mindset and think about their experiences and what could have shaped their reality to come to a conclusion and to view something in a certain way. Reading from other people's perspective in the book and reading and seeing all of what actually plays out rather than your brain making assumptions. Seeing something that's certain because you're reading it it expands your brain and your ability to recognize patterns and plot points and critical thinking and abstract thinking. It's one of the only ways to develop abstract thinking in a brain that is low IQ, right? Particularly with children, because children all start out at a certain level, right? So it's one of the only ways to shape abstract thinking in a complex way, right? Where they're able to verbalize what they're actually thinking because they've seen it before. I can't begin to describe to you how important it is to fucking read. And I saw a Twitter thread recently where somebody said, why is it that literature is mandatory and IT isn't? And I thought to myself, you are like, I already kind of lose off of the account we've been saying that stuff, because they seem to be pushing an agenda with the stuff that they're pushing regarding certain things. I'm not going to go into it further because I respect the person. Well, I lose that fight. Anyways, further speaking, the fact that you can't even understand why literature should be so necessary versus IT. It's quite literally that, an example of somebody who cannot view other perspectives. Oh, well, you know, the most logical thing to do is to teach your kids to program. So everybody can program now. What's the point in how are the programmers going to make that much money charging for their services? Well, how does that work? First of all, what sort of technological industry do we have in Jamaica where we can't even run server farms because we don't have enough access to energy, right? So what the fuck kind of conversation are we really having? We don't even have an ice factory. We don't have an ice factory. But you want the children them to learn how to program and do IT because IT is gonna save us and take us to the future. I mean, it hurts my brain, bro. I understand what you're thinking, but all those kids are gonna do are just add to the brain drain and leave again, right? They're just gonna keep leaving. Bro, we don't have an ice factory because it's not profitable to manufacture anything in Jamaica. If you read I saw an article out there by one of the only manufacturers in Jamaica, and he was saying how they can't borrow enough money at a sensible enough rate from the government in order to maintain their businesses and running businesses, much less starting them. Yeah, that burned down, bro. That burnt down. Have you bought ice recently? It's now in half the size of the bag at double the price. I bought a bag of ice the other day for 8 bills and it was the half size that they usually are at the gas station. No, how you can't legislate for the market in that sense because there's no, what do you mean? They had to pass the law to allow them to import ice or allow them some restriction, to free some restriction to import ice. Essential businesses get a lot. Bro, I want to tell you that all of these things can be done. And there's an article on the Observer I think you should read. Mr. Omar Zan says it better than I can. There's a lot of things where we're restricted, and I think it has to do with legislation because I don't understand why it's an economical situation, especially as it results to access to gas and oil and energy. Shanston, bro. You just forward? You just forward? You there a long time or you just forward? Yo, one of the man them practice listening before talking, bro. Cause y'all gonna get my car up and then I gonna lose my train of thought. And with that, so I keep a sensible vibe, bro. Jaja dog. With that, so I keep a sensible vibe, bro, you see me? And now, you know, not even remember the dog. Dog, I can't even, it just get fucked, bro. It get fucked now, bro. It get fucked now. It's not just about it's not just about like a legal ramification, bro, but you know what I mean? There's more than that, bro. Alright, yeah, see the article here? There's two articles I'm looking at now. One of them is on the Observer from yesterday. No, this isn't from yesterday. This is from Friday. Jamaica spends 5 times more on imports than it earns from exports in January. Five times more on imports. And then there was a break. No, not a blood clot article. No. It adds to what I'm saying, but this isn't the article. Manufacturer says Jamaican economy is in the worst position ever. All right. This is what I'm reading from. You can type in, it's on the Radio Jamaica News. This was put out on Monday. The manufacturer says Jamaica's economy is in the worst position ever and he blames the poor policies. The negative view of the economy comes against the background of discussions on the failure of commercial banks to reduce their lending rates to their customers, despite the Bank of Jamaica reducing its policy rate. Following a further reduction in the policy rate last week from 6% to 5.75%, BOJ Governor Richard Biles and Finance Minister Favour Williams urged commercial banks to follow suit. But speaking on Monday, on the morning agenda, the BOJ and policymakers need to shoulder some of that. Yo, I don't want to call my name, bro. I want to read it. And so they're trying to blind me. It's insane. How can they, what do they mean? What do they mean? This is a quote, I'm going to quote from the man. Everything is going to start going haywire. The government better call the election quickly because the balloon is about to blow. The economy is in the worst position that he's ever seen it in 30 odd years of business. The buying power is the weakest. Remittances are down. Tourism is struggling. And their monetary policies are stifling the economy. Well, I don't know, man. I think every time I look at the real estate prices, I feel a primal sense of rage because I think about what I earn, and what I earn is supposed to be like a decent wage. And I have no realistic pathway on this to like not only home ownership, but if I was to be renting somewhere that I would consider to be somewhere I would want to rent, I'd be spending about half of my salary on rent alone. When I see the prices of the mortgages people are supposed to be paying for some, I don't know. I feel like I need you guys to see these prices on Twitter. You won't understand what I'm talking about until you see it. It's very hard to get it until you see the properties and you see the prices, and then you reflect on the wages that people are earning, and I don't see how they combine. Right? If the average wage in Jamaica is supposed to be $150,000 a month, how are people paying mortgages for $200,000 in an average basic community? Well, who is the target audience? If Jamaican residents are not the target audience, who the fuck is the target audience? The fact that real estate is a commodity and a commercial entity and something that people only view as an investment vehicle now is disgusting. We're supposed to live in houses. The point of a house is to live in a house, not earn money off of a house. You're supposed to live in the fucking house. The point of the house is that you have a house and you live in it. You live in the fucking house. It's not an Airbnb. It's not an investment. It's not a pathway to financial freedom and a new. You're supposed to live in a house, bro. If you look at the thing, everything is an investment property. Everything is a flip. Everything is a way they can earn money off of somebody else for a basic resource that you can't live without. Almost half of Jamaicans live in some form of informal housing. It was a percentage I saw, I believe it was 54%. I don't want to believe it's that high of a number anymore. I want to believe that more than 54% of Jamaicans are not living in a form of informal housing. I really cannot imagine that's the percentage, still to this day. But I'm trying to find, I just want to show, Greater Portmore, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's so small they can't even list the square footage. And the mortgage is the mortgage is $136,000 a month. There isn't even kitchen cupboards. There's not even cupboards in the kitchen. It's such a disgraceful listing. There's not even cupboards in the kitchen. And if you earn 3 times the minimum wage, you'll only be able to cover the mortgage, and you won't be able to cover utilities and groceries and other essentials. Minimum wage is 60 grand. Average wage, them say, 100 to 150. A good salary is supposed to be like 250 to 300. That's supposed to be something that's good. That's supposed to be a high competitive wage. I saw an investment bank put out a budget for a young professional earning $300,000 a month. No, it's propaganda, bro. Because that cannot be the reality of the situation. There's no way that these prices are anyway based in reality. Anyways, the budget that this investment bank put out for a young professional earning $300,000 a month. Let me break it down. No, I don't even, I can quote it from memory, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna find the actual chart. And I've spoken about this more than once, and I have to come back to it all the time because it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. An investment bank does not leave any room in the budget for savings or investments. On a $300,000 a month salary. I don't even have to look at how they budget it out. I can do the math myself, but I want to tell you how an investment bank views how and promotes how young professional Jamaicans should save. Bro, wait there, bro. It depends on my bird up in that, but so much fucking my post on the bird up, my struggle to find it, dog. Yo, sorry for the break in reasoning. I'm struggling to find the budget because I want to be as accurate with my quotation as possible. However, for those of you who have been following the prison break, the man them who's broken out of the prison, they just caught Jermaine. They caught Jermaine. He went to his grandma's house. His grandma got arrested for sheltering and feeding him. Honestly, I thought Jermaine was gonna pull through, bro. I really believe that Jermaine, you know, him did just look seasoned in that game, brother. I can't believe a grandma had them catch him at, bro. I genuinely can't believe. I thought he would have been on a boat. I thought he would have been in Mexico. You know, I had a lot of expectations for Jermaine. I'm extremely disappointed. You know what I mean? Bro, the fact that he wasn't in Belize or Central America by now, I can't believe it. People, the most unlikely man out of the 10 is still there. Of the final 2, yo, hi who? But of the final 2 in the showdown of the inmates who escaped the jail, the wild card, the person that nobody believed in, everybody wrote him off. Me personally, I thought they'd catch him first. The guy with the face tattoos, the 3 big face tattoos, Antoine Massey. He made it to the finals. He may go all the way. I actually can't believe it. Him and the favorite, Derek Collier, I believe his name is. Him and the favorite are still out. I don't think they're catching him, bro. I think they're gonna catch Derek before him. I think they might even fucking catch Derek before him, bro. I swear to God. Them said Derek look like him could have been even a stud, bro. Like, if Derek put on a wig, him could have been a dyke. Brother, I didn't think they killed him, bro. But now that still, I feel like because he's made it so far, him going to go all the way, bro. Him have to go all the way. Him can't get catch now, bro. Him can't get catch now, bro. For go so far with face tattoos, do you know how impressive that is? That's pretty impressive. Honestly. Nah, man, where him there, them not find him, brother. But yo, remember say, the first man then catch, you know, on Instagram live in the pan, you know. Brother, I find the budget. So me find it here, sir, my side. Budget of a young professional making $300,000. This is according to an investment bank. And this was done in October of 2024. Rent/mortgage, 120K a month. Well, the liquor yard in Waterford is 130. So if it's a mortgage, you're living in what could be known as the Garrison. Now if it's rent, you're probably on the outskirts of Uptown. Because Uptown rent start at 150 for a studio, which is 1 bedroom, and the kitchen, living room, all of that is one thing, and you have a bedroom and a bathroom. So the 120, you can rent somewhere in a reasonable, safe neighborhood, but that's rent. So that's dead money, essentially. You're not earning anything off of that money. That's half of your salary gone to your basic existence. Didn't mention utilities. We don't get anywhere yet. We're just talking, that's rent. If it's a mortgage now, it's at least going towards wealth that you hold, but it's not a mortgage. Talking about rent. Because otherwise, the value that you're holding on a $120,000 mortgage for the yard in Waterford, good luck trying to sell that. Good luck trying to get an increase on the value for that right now. That's going to be a 20 to 30 year long investment, if over there changes. Think about Spanish Town. Spanish Town was once so beautiful and prosperous. Spanish Town was the Mecca of Jamaica. Imagine you held real estate in Spanish Town in the 70s and you thought, wow, this is never gonna change. This is the up and the up. Spanish Town, Vineyard Town, Mountain View, these are the best areas. Fuck you. I'm so rich and wealthy. Now your prized real estate has gone to shit. It's a war zone. Good luck trying to get the value that you had for it back then. No, you're not gonna get it. So real estate isn't this guaranteed you're going to flip your money and make a tremendous rate of return on your investment as like per the beating inflation, blah 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 blah. You're probably not. Plus, when you're paying a mortgage, if something goes wrong in the house, you have to fix that. You know how much a roof costs? At least when you're renting somewhere, that's for the landlord problem. But when you're paying a mortgage, brother. Anyways, so half your salary there, 120 is what they propose, which really you spend 150. 120 is not really feasible, right? So half your thing gone, blah. Car payment 60,000. You tell me which car you're making a payment on for 60K a month. No cash down. I'm more than that, bad man. No one is financing that. $60K. maybe in 2015. And they start at 80 in the 70s and the 80s. And do you know what the rates are? And what rate are you getting for the bank with that 100% financing? What's the interest rate on those fucking on those loans? Huh?
Yeah, man, that's how we are left it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to hit the like button going through the door and start up the comment section and tell me what you think about the conversation and some of the things that was brought up. You know, it's a variety. I think, like me say, it's a little bit different, but yeah, I thought it was interesting and I was there listening. I said, let me start recording, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, let me know what you think in the comment section. Alright, it's about the Bolo VNR 2.0, Bolo VNR clips, Bolo TVV, and Bolo VNR. I'm out. Please subscribe to all pages and hit that like button. Share the content. Have a good one.